Hey guys, Preston here, and today we are doing my review of my custom Bark River Aurora and CPM Cru-wear. So first, we're just gonna real quick talk about the knife, talk about the blade, talk about the steel, thoughts I have on it, whatnot, and then we'll get on to the rest of the stuff. Alright, so first off, handle. This is CPM Desert Ironwood with mosaic pins. Overall, fit and finish is very nice, extremely flush with the pins and the tang all the way around, and the lanyard tube. Everything was done right, looks good, feels solid. I'll tell you what, this is one of the most comfortable knives I've ever held. The blade itself, the CPM Cru-wear steel, has been great, but the geometry is just a good full convex. Well, not really full, you got this little portion of flat, but good convex grind on there. You can see there's no micro bevel the whole way. It came with kind of a micro bevel that was just more of a convex angle change, where it convexed over a little bit more quickly, but I've kind of evened it out, so now it's just a smooth transition all the way. You can see that the reflection of the phone back there recording, but tell you, it performs good, solid, you know, decently sharp spine. I got my notes flying away over there. There we go. But pretty sharp spine. You can see it'll make curls off your fingernail. That's all you need to tell that it's sharp. And just solid. Now on the steel, real quick, just some thoughts. Performs very well. I've had some other knives, mainly an S30V. I'll tell you, this is worlds above it, even at the shallow sharpening angle that this has. Performance has just been wonderful, and I'm pretty impressed with this whole thing right here. Geometry of the blade really lends it to going through wood. It's just solid. You just take a look at that. But honestly, I hate the talking part of reviews and stuff, and I don't do many, and I don't post them either because they all sucked. But you just take a look at that. Alright, so let's get on to some other stuff now. Alright, next thing we need to talk about is a sheath here. Obviously a jacket can conceal it pretty well. We'll take the jacket off. Take a look at the sheath here. You can see how this rides on my hip. Just goes like that. Sits pretty flush against. A lot of sheaths have a big loop coming off, and they hang out here and down a little bit with the knife pretty exposed. But this one tends to tuck it in pretty tight against your body. When you're going through the woods, that's what you want, because it doesn't get caught up on trees and stuff since it's so flush against you. You can always just drop your shirt over it like that, and only the bottom will stick out. But I like that. It works pretty well. Friction fit is okay. It's got pretty solid retention, but you can get it out pretty easily, just like that. Back in, you gotta be kind of careful not to cut your shirt though, since it's so tight to you. We got a little fire steel loop, but I don't use that ever because my ferro rod is about this big around. I don't know why, but I don't really use that, but it would work just fine. It's pretty thick. The quality of the leather is good. The rivets are nice. The stitching has been holding up great. It's getting a little dry on the edges. I need to put some oil on here or something to get that a little more moist. But overall, it looks good, it rides comfortably, and works well. Now, there's another option for carry. You can see we've got this slit right here. So what I can do here, take the hatchet off, and flip this around, and your belt will just go right through that slit. Just that one right there. And put this on, and carry it cross draw, if you wanted to, just like that. And I don't need to attach the belt all the way or anything. But then that'll just ride right about there, cross draw style. You can pull that forward in front of you if you want to, and just come across that, like so. And that works well, but I find when you're sitting down and stuff, it kind of gets annoying and you gotta move it around and turn it and everything. So I don't carry it that way very often, but it is an option. But overall, quality's good, holds the knife upside down just fine. Take a nice close look at that. Very good, it's aged well. I think it pairs very well with the knife also, especially how that lanyard tube seems to match these. Okay, another thing I want to talk about real quick was the ease of sharpening, which is actually quite surprising for this Cru-wear. This has been easy knife to sharpen. We're going to go over what I use to sharpen it later and to maintain it and strop it, stuff like that. But I'll just kind of show you. It's got a good edge on it. You see? Good enough to easily shave. And that's all you really need right there. So, ease of sharpening, been pretty good. Actually quite surprising. I'm not the most experienced at sharpening. This is the first convex knife I've ever had. And I say I can do a pretty fine job right there. Alright, also, I'm just going to keep doing a bunch of clips like this, so just get used to it. We're going to do a handle comparison right here. This is my Benchmade Bushcrafter, and this is just S30V right here. But this is a solid knife, guys. And if you're looking for a solid workhorse that's not super comfortable, then you can get this one right here. This is a $200 knife. This is a $345 knife after tax. But also, I just want to show you here these handles. Look at the contouring. Very different. This one's much more extreme, a lot thicker, a lot heavier, and much more abrupt angles. You can see those right there. A lot less rounded, especially down the corners, stuff like that. See that? So just kind of take note of that. This is a far more comfortable handle. Also, the location of the palm swell, this one's kind of far forward compared to this one kind of in the middle of your hand. And then also this knife's got some pretty sharp corners right here, whereas this one's got it really well rounded. And that makes all the difference when you're carving with this thing, because it gives you the same amount of good surface area up top, but without those sharp corners that dig into this part of your thumb right here when you're carving with it. Yeah, so that one, much more comfortable. Switch the hands there. This one, this corner right here, really kills you. So just keep that in mind, and that's just kind of show the difference of what you're getting between the two. As you can see right there, like, I noticed that the convex grind tends to follow the knots a lot better through pieces like this when it comes to splitting, while all the flat grinds would just want to get stuck right there. I noticed that this one kind of likes to curve with it pretty well. Maybe that's just because of the convex edge or the piece of wood, I don't know, but it's just something I noticed. Alright. Let's just kind of see how this does with a little bit of carving here, just to see how it bites and takes off wood. You see that bite right there? I'd say that's pretty nice. See that? Kind of just ejects the little chunks of wood right off the blade there. Oh, check that out, knocking the camera down. That's great. Wow. This is the other piece. This one's got a knot in it though, pretty nasty one, I might say. It's harder to get through, but you see that just cut right through there? Carve that knot out of there. There we go. Now we're through it. Look at that. Let's see while we're here also how the Benchmade bites. Remember that last bite we got? That was pretty good. Let's go ahead and... That sucks, doesn't it? Another thing to take note of here is the way the blade is kind of swept back on this knife compared to the bushcrafter where the blade is kind of dropped down. So when you're doing that, when you're push cutting something with the bushcrafter, you know, your hand can be at this angle and the blade will still be straight. It's kind of lopsided, it's kind of weird. Some people might think it gives you more force in the cut, and maybe it does. But when you take this one and you push cut straight, your blade is already at a little bit of an angle, which kind of helps it slide in. Because if you change the angle of the blade from this to this, the edge appears thinner to the wood that it's going through, right? Think about it, it's like an airplane wing. That's why back in the days when they were first experimenting with jet engines, they decided to sweep the wings back on those jets because it made the angle appear thinner, you know, to the wind. And if you take this, you imagine what your wood is pushing through, and you change that angle to this, now your wood is pushing across this distance right here rather than this distance. So naturally, it's thinner, which means it's going to bite even better at an angle like that. That's why it's swept back. And also it kind of helps it coming out of the cut better. So that's just a little thing I noticed about the geometry of the blade relative to the handle and that angle there. It really aids in carving tasks because the blade will be angled back a little bit, which just makes the whole knife appear a little thinner to the wood as it goes in. Alright, here this is my sharpening kit for the Bark River, and any other tool that I want to sharpen. It's my Grants Force Brooks grinding stone, which is 180 grit on one side and 600 grit on the other. I never use the 180 grit, 600 seems to do the trick just fine. But that's a wonderful stone, I highly recommend it. I have my, or we'll also go with this one next. Then we got the 3000 grit leather strop and 6,000 grit side of the leather strop. This is the DLT Trading Ambush Pro whatever double-sided power strop. It's the big one, the nice one. And then also we have just some bare leather to finish it off. And what you can do with this one is you can spit on the 600 grit side while you're sharpening and create a slurry that kind of polishes the blade and gets it ready to jump straight to 3000. So all in all, the sharpening kit is all you need. All in all, guys, I highly recommend this knife. This is the knife that satisfies me. I haven't bought another bushcraft knife since I got it like 9 or 10 months ago. It just does everything I want it to do, does it well, and I really enjoy it. Also, guys, the reason this is custom is because I had the blade shortened 5/8 of an inch and the tip dropped, so now it's in line with the center of the handle, so it'll drill really nicely. I'm going to link 2 videos in the description for y'all to watch. One is me doing a Featherstick Tinder Bundle challenge, so where I carved a feather stick for a flint and steel kit, using the flint and steel kit to light it, which was really an awesome challenge. And then also me working on a project where I had to do a bunch of drilling with this tip. So please go check those out. I'm going to roll in a little bit of footage after here just to show off the knife up close. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and God bless. Just a close-up look at that ironwood for y'all, the mosaic pins there.